right, 8 o'clock on a Friday night, live from Studio 6B, September 20th, 8 p.m. Glad you're in. Lots to do. Slick's here with sports. Slickster, how are you?
Doing good, Big D. How we doing tonight?
Very good, very good. Odds makers tonight.
Oh, come on.
We just don't know when. We're just not sure when.
Odds are, we're not sure.
Odds are that we're not sure what we're doing tonight. Lots to do. I did not think we had a busy night tonight. I did my stream this morning, and I told everybody we were going to do What Even Is That tonight. We're going to do Odds Makers. I thought we had.
We're doing What Even
Well, little
Is
did
It?
I remember. Of course, I need ginkgo biloba or something. That Joe Rogan stuff. What's it called? Mega Brain or something?
No,
Brain?
MAGA Brain.
MAGA Brain, yeah. I should have remembered we're covering the Texas Youth Summit tonight. And there's some great speakers down there. Corey Mills from Florida, he's coming up. He's been great on the assassination attempts on Trump. He's good on everything pretty much overall. Kimberly Guilfoyle is going to speak. Don Jr. is going to speak. So we're going to cover those speeches, which has thrown a little bit of a wrench into What Even Is That. So we're going to do that on Monday, right?
Yes.
What is your What Even Is That about? Well, Rick Delgado's here with the news.
Let's see. What is it about? Oh, I don't know.
Why do you act like you didn't write it?
No, I did write it, but
Okay.
But you kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't thinking about it because I'm like, we're not going to do it till Monday now. But I would say, let's see, what would it be about? What's a good little hint to give people? Well, it could be something to do with aspirations, ambitions, and dreams. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Hope and change.
Yeah. Maybe a little joy. There could be some joy thrown in.
Oh, joy. Yes,
Yeah.
we know joy.
Joy.
Yeah.
Joy to the world.
Right.
The Lord has come. Okay. Very good. Delgado's going to do some news tonight. Joining now, representing the audience tonight. I'm excited about this.
Yes.
Aaron is doing a great, fantastic, bang-up job of putting the odds makers together every week, dealing with the audience because we're doing audience involvement here, which I love.
I love it.
And tonight is Gary, Corey,
Greg.
Where's Harry?
hell?
Harry!
0 for 3 in 2 seconds, Damon. How can you be that stupid? Greg.
Yes.
And Greg is retired military. Is that correct, Aaron?
Correct.
Nice.
So I better watch myself before he
Right.
whoops my you-know-what here.
That's it.
Greg is retired military. He's a longtime viewer of LFS6B. He loves Slick Rick. I don't know how he feels about
that part is baffling, but go ahead.
I don't know how he feels about Delgado or myself. But he loves Slick, and that's all that matters.
He likes Delgado, I think.
This is the odds makers.
And he's a Bama fan.
Yeah,
Yes.
Roll Tide.
Oh, he's a
Huge
Bama
Bama
fan.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
big
yeah.
Now
Bama fan.
is Greg picking college? Do we know?
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, he
He did
is.
tell me he was going to pick college.
Oh, come on now. All right, so we got college, and then we'll pick the pros. Slick, what did you have? 4 pro games or?
No, I always pick a college. I got a college, and I got a Sunday night game, and then 2 in the middle, baby.
Okay. Aaron, I know your week has already been made because your Jets last
Oh,
night.
they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're already at the
Jets
Super Bowl.
They're going to win it. They're in the Super Bowl.
And
already.
Delgado's just a hater.
I'm
Oh my
not.
goodness.
You know what?
Delgado
I was
is a
ready to jump
hater.
through my phone this
I am
morning.
not a hater.
I talked about it on my morning stream this morning. Delgado starts the group chat this morning that we're all on. Just a hater
8
of the
o'clock
Jets.
in the morning.
Not a hater.
Well, how would you explain it?
I would. I asked the question: is there trouble in paradise? And I sent the video.
The answer is
there was
no.
no hate.
You sent fake news video though.
I don't think it was fake news.
I don't know. I got a story out of
Fake
Fox News. I'm going to
news.
run. Aaron Rodgers explains why he rejected Robert Saleh's hug in home opener. So
Yeah.
let's.
And you've got
see
two
what
different
happens.
stories coming
We don't
out of
hug
both
till
of
the
them.
job is done on Gangrene.
That's right.
Right.
You tell
Right,
me.
Aaron?
Right.
High five.
He's very, yes.
Gotcha.
So
He's
They
very
haven't hugged in
serious.
48 years.
Aaron Rodgers is a
Excuse
very
me,
serious
58
man.
years.
That's exactly right.
Ooh,
No
ouch.
hugs.
All right.
And
so-
Sal's, or I'm not, whatever.
All I know is you ruined a
I'm not
perfectly
going to get
good
into
morning
it. I'm going to
sleep.
get mad.
Yeah.
For Fran.
Fran's thing was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, just you got to mute the notifications there, Fran. That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
or
but then
take
somebody-
yourself out of it, like that I've done in the past.
Yeah, but then you'll need something, and I have to, listen to you complain about that.
Very true.
Damon,
It's a lose-lose situation.
Damon takes himself out of just one-on-one text groups. It's like, hey, Damon, what time are you doing this?
That's a very good
And all
point.
of a sudden, it disappears.
Delete.
Yep.
Oh, well,
Oh, my
what can you
goodness.
do? So, all right, well, so Greg's going to come up in the odds makers, representing the audience. Where does the audience stand right now? How are the records?
Yes. So
Go ahead.
Chip from last week is 3-1.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Very. Oh, Chip was good.
Dad
was
is
good.
0-4. So
Dad, well, yeah.
we're not going to see Dad again, I guess.
Ooh, that was
Dad
rough.
was happy about the Jets, though, so he kind of made up for him.
So overall, the audience is 0-4 and 3-1. So
Well, they're 4 and
3-5.
3-5? 3-5.
3-5. And
Yeah.
where do you stand, Aaron?
I am, including last night's game, I am 7-7.
Okay, set 500 is respectable. And where is the Slickster?
5-9, not doing too good, Big D. Off to
Okay.
a rough start. I need a big weekend. Yeah,
All right.
Aaron and I have a few more games than them because we picked the Thursday night game and the Monday night
right.
game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So we'll get to all of that. We'll do some news and sports. We're going to see. We're going to listen to Corey Mills when he takes the stage. We're going to do the odds makers at some point here. We're going to listen to Don Jr. We're going to listen to Kimberly Guilfoyle. All at the Texas Youth Summit, talking to the youth, and of course, the youth vote's going to be important. But let's just start with a couple things here. And I don't know, maybe Delgado has this in his news. But if in the years of 2016 to 2020, we had a camera in for a cabinet meeting, and let's say Melania,
Lovely lady.
let's say we hadn't seen President Trump in some time other than maybe hanging out at the beach. And then Melania was in charge of the first cabinet meeting, let's say, now, I don't know, 10, 11 months. And President Trump was nowhere to be found, and Melania was sitting at the head of the table. What do you think the media in this country would have been reporting on the nightly news that night? Let's start a little poll here. Let's just take a guess. What would the reporting be if Ivanka or Melania were heading up the cabinet meeting, the first one in 11 months? What would the news media be reporting? Because that's exactly what happened today.
Yeah.
As a cabinet meeting going on, and the good doctor, Jill Biden, not Joe, Jill Biden heads up the cabinet meeting.
Yes. Yes, I saw that. What would be a headline? Let's see. Trump turns over the country to a foreign adversary, basically, because she's not from here. So maybe it'd be some type of reference to her homeland.
Invoke the 25th now. Trump
Yes.
clearly not able to even hold his own cabinet meeting. You can imagine enemies around the world take notice. I mean, you could just imagine. They went full scale 25th Amendment when he walked down the platform at the Air Force or
No,
one of
it was
those
at
the
West
academies, West Point.
Yep.
Because it happened to be raining and he thought it was pretty slick. He was a little worried about. Remember what that was like? When
Yes.
he picked up the water and drank it. Remember what that was like?
Right.
Can you imagine if he didn't show up for a cabinet meeting after 11 months and put his wife in charge of it?
He must be off golfing again. He doesn't do anything. He's turned over the country to someone else. He needs to be removed from office. He's a threat to democracy by doing this, Damon. I think that would be a threat to democracy.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
I
I could be wrong. They might just look at it and be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
No, they wouldn't. All right.
I mean, just absolutely wild. So let's do some news while we can here before we get to cover some of these speakers, and we'll do the odds makers and some other things. And Don Jr. will be the feature, probably take up most of hour 2 as he's doing kind of like a fireside chat, I believe. I don't know if he's going to take questions or not, but we'll cover that. But let's do some news right now, and Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on?
All right. Well, a couple things that are kind of catching my attention here, and not sure if you saw this one, and I will get to the Diddy news because I think that's kind of important. He is now on suicide watch. I'll dive into that in just a little bit. But this one here having to do with the debate. Yeah, going back to the debate, remember the document, what are they called? When you, what's the word?
No, I don't.
No, whistleblower from ABC News.
An affidavit?
Affidavit, yes. The TV network that hosted the Kamala Harris and Donald Trump debate has responded to claims from a whistleblower that the Democratic candidate received help. ABC has insisted it did not break rules, and Vin was asking about this last night if we had an update on it. Well, this just came out this morning. Debate rules after an alleged staff worker claimed that the network was biased towards Harris and gave her questions ahead of the debate. The document dated the day before the showdown. So the document, the whistleblower actually made this declaration the day before the actual debate. Said the broadcaster gave Harris preconditions which would give her a leg up over the former president. It's supposedly written by a male staffer who has worked at ABC for over a decade, who noticed a shift from unbiased reporting to a model influenced by external factors during his time at the company. It also says in the document, which is a sworn affidavit, there's the word, signed by a notary public, the writer states that they do not support Donald Trump with the intention of the letter being addressed concerns regarding the perceived biases within news reporting. During the debate, the staffer also claimed to have sent the document to House Speaker Mike Johnson. So the network finally, I guess, released a statement. They said ABC News followed the debate that both campaigns agreed on, and which clearly state no topics or questions will be shared in advance with campaigns or candidates. 2 days after the debate, the document surfaced on a social media account of right-wing influencer Philip Anderson, and it goes on from there. Marjorie Taylor Greene also chimed in. It was quickly, I guess she posted something quickly, and it was quickly retracted. But Bill Ackman, I should say, 58-year-old billionaire, said this looks credible and called for an investigation of the claims. So we'll see what happens. This is still kind of out there.
Yeah.
And,
here's the investigation you can do.
Yeah.
Replay the debate.
Yeah.
And just watch her. That's all the evidence you need. Just go watch it. That's all the evidence you need. If you've seen her before, if you've seen her on the debate stage before, if you've seen her give interviews before, just go watch that debate. You'll have all the evidence you need that she was helped.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. And I know we're running out of time. I did want to mention this because I don't know how much time we'll have it. J.D. Souther, singer who co-wrote Eagles classics like New Kid in Town, has passed away. Remember him, J.D.
Sure.
Souther from the Eagles? I thought you'd appreciate this. Singer, songwriter, actor who co-wrote some of the biggest hits for the Eagles like New Kid in Town and Best of My Love. Had a long solo career, included top 10 hits.
Can't be that old.
He was he died Tuesday at 78.
Oh, 78.
Yeah, no cause of death was given.
Not that old.
But described by reps as dying peacefully at his home in New Mexico. So losing an American legend there in the music business.
All right, live from Studio 6B, 13 past the hour. Lots to do. Sports news, odds makers, all coming up right after this. Yeah, it looks like 20 minutes ago. It looks to me. Well, at 1950 she came out.
She's probably going to take the liberty to take it.
So it looks like she's already passed her time. So should we try to do it here? Wait, Corey Mills is up after her?
Yes. He's next on the schedule. And then there's a gap between him and Guilfoyle. There's another person.
Yeah, we want to do it after Corey Mills because we have a half an hour, right? I mean, she has to be getting close to done. Yeah, like if I go back...
We lost.
Right, she's been on for 20 minutes. How long was she allotted? On this sheet, 25? Right. So she's going to be done in 5 minutes, and then they're going to probably bring him out. So let's just stick to the plan and go after Corey Mills. Okay.
Wait, here he goes.
Right. So Corey's going to come out now. So let's do regular segment 2, and then actually no, we'll take Corey. We're going to take Corey. Oh wait a minute. They say they're going to.
They just jumped.
Okay. So no, do we have Greg on?
No, I'm calling him now.
Let's call him now. We'll do it now because we're not taking this girl.
Oh, they're jumping to somebody.
They jumped to somebody else. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Be the president of the where are they in Houston? Houston Chamber of
Yes.
Commerce.
Yeah, sure.
Go Corey.
He has college. I'm assuming it's going to be. Where is this?
No.
Where's Al? Tennessee. I don't even see Alabama.
Alabama's not playing this week.
There we go. 17 past the hour. Time to do the odds makers on a Friday night. Joining us, representing the LFS6B audience, is Greg. Greg, there he is. There he is. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing great, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Tell the audience just quickly here in about 30 seconds. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
All right. So first of all, I'm Roll Tide, big Alabama fan. Retired military. I was a forward observer in the military in the United States Army. And so my last position was I was a 2nd Brigade ROTC Command Sergeant Major, which included Hofstra ROTC.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go. Let's go.
Flying Dutchman.
All right, so Greg's here. He's going to represent the audience, going to give us his picks. Let's get it going. We don't have a ton of time here tonight because we got a lot going on. Slick, I'll come to you first.
Whoa.
First game out of the box is what?
I'm going to go college, Big D, 3:30. We got Michigan hosting USC in the big house. USC off to a good start, 2-0. Michigan a little shaky, 2-1. They're going to do a little quarterback change, Big D. Davis Warren out. Alex, looks like Orji is in. So, but I'm going to go with USC on the road. They are laying 4.5 on the road, but I think they're going to go into the big house and make a big mess. Michigan is in trouble. The Wolverines. Yep, give me USC. Give me the Trojans.
All right, very good. USC for Slick is game number 1. Greg, coming to you. What's your first game?
My first game is I'm going to go to college as well. Tennessee versus Oklahoma. Delgado shot out because I know your daughter goes to Tennessee. But for Oklahoma, welcome to the SEC. You're going down. All right. I'm going for Tennessee this week, but the 3rd week of October, I hate Tennessee, but Tennessee's going to take it to OU. Welcome to the SEC, Oklahoma. You're going down.
Tennessee minus 6.5 for Oklahoma on the road is pick number 1 for Greg. Aaron, where are you going for game number 1?
I am going to college. We're going Michigan, USC versus Michigan like Slick. I am also going to take USC here. That was minus 4.5, you said?
4.5, yep.
All right, yep. It's going to be the first time that these two have played against each other in the regular season since 1958, which is pretty cool. USC's coming off a bye, and Michigan's defense doesn't really match up to USC's offensive power, so give me USC.
Okay, there you go. You both have USC, and then we have a Tennessee minus 6.5. That's game number 1. Slick, where are you going game number 2?
Well, I'm going to go with the Giant game. The Giants, the closest thing they're going to get to the Hall of Fame is they're playing across the street from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the Huntington Bank Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, Big D. That's where they're going to be. And they're going to get rocked and rolled because I'm rolling with the Cleveland Browns. Laying 6.5 is the spread that I had, Big D.
Yep.
And I'm going to lay all 6.5. Miles Garrett's got 2 bad feet. Won't matter. Danny Dimes will be running for his life, and he'll be out there. It'll be a complete bomb. Even with David Njoku out, the tight end, I think it's going to be a tough game for Cleveland initially, but then they're going to move away. Giants are just a done team.
All right, Cleveland -6.5 is game number 2 for Slick. Greg, where are you going for game number 2?
Game number 2, I'm going Philly versus New Orleans, all right? So here we go. So I love Jalen Hurts. I love Devontae Smith, right? But the Phillies defense is not as good as what they thought they were going to be, right? So in the Kubiak offense with the head-to-head, and A.J. Brown is out. But then Kamari, hey, he's there. He's rocking and rolling. So I'm going New Orleans over Philly.
Ooh. All right, New Orleans -2.5. David Carr has looked really good. This offense has looked explosive. New Orleans -2.5, game number 2. Aaron, where are you going?
I am going to Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Broncos. That's what was the line on that?
Tampa
I saw
Bay
6.5.
-6.
All right, 6. All right, so I'll take that. They're off to a 2-0 start. Baker Mayfield is currently leading the NFL in passing touchdowns over the past 10 starts. He's been playing outstanding. Bo Nix has not really shown anything so far, which is upsetting because I love Bo Nix. But they're struggling to get anything going downfield, and Tampa Bay's already won against a QB rookie with a struggling offense, so they'll do it again.
Baker Mayfield's a great story so far this year. We'll see if he can keep it up. I mean, he's really matured. He's a different guy. You hear him in the interviews. Tampa Bay -6 over Denver for Aaron, game number 2. Slick, back to you, game number 3.
Well, I'm going to do the same thing as Aaron. I'm going to waddle on down to Raymond James Stadium in beautiful Tampa, Florida. And, I have to get on that bandwagon with Aaron. I think Tampa, Baker Mayfield looking good. Tampa's 2-0. I think they're going to roll. I think Bo Pick 6 Nix is not going to have a good game. I think he's got some he's still learning the league there. Denver's a team in trouble. They got a lot of rebuilding to do. So, Big D, give me the Bucks laying the 6.
All right, very good. Greg, where are you going for game number 3?
Game number 3, I'm going, believe it or not, Denver versus Tampa Bay. So I was going there.
Ooh.
Yeah. So first of all, Bo Nix, where did he play college? Auburn. And what does Auburn do? Auburn sucks, right? So here we go. Roll time. All right, so Tampa Bay's on a roll. Mayfield, I think he has his confidence up, everything like that. So I really am confident in Tampa Bay coming over Denver. So let's go.
Oh, boy. All 3 of you on Tampa Bay -6. You know what Big D's going to be playing this
Big
weekend?
D's rolling with Denver.
Sending it in on Denver,
He's
baby.
on the phone with Sean Payton. Come on, man.
All right, Aaron, where are you going for game number 3?
I am going to Dallas. Ravens play them.
Baltimore -1 on the road in Big D.
Yep. I am taking the Ravens on this game. I think they're going to give Dallas a run for their money.
Yeah.
Dak has not been very mobile in the pocket, and the Ravens are ranked 3rd in sacks per game right now. Lamar and Derrick Henry are going to kill it on the ground, and they're going to give Dallas a run for their money. They're going to win and cover for sure.
Okay, Baltimore only -1. All they got to do is basically win the game. All right, Slick's going to have something to say about that, but let's see where Slick's going for game number 4.
Well, I will have to say something about that first now. Oh, yeah, I agree with Aaron. I don't think Dallas is going to be able to beat Baltimore. Baltimore's very desperate. They're an 0-2 team. They have I just can't see them going in and going 0-3. Lamar Jackson, he was the MVP of the league last year. So I do like Baltimore as well, but I'm sure as hell going to be rooting for my Cowboys. You know I will, but I got to be honest. And where am I going? Sunday Night Football. Where else? I got to go to Sunday Night Football, and I'm going to we're going down to Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Big D. I like what Kirk Cousins is doing. He scares me sometimes, and I know KC's good, but you know what? They're 2-0 KC. They're due to lose. Atlanta looked really good Monday night against Philly, and there's no reason why they couldn't knock off a KC. They're primed to get beat. So I think it's going to be a swift win by the Atlanta Falcons, Big D.
All right. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Kansas City -3. He's going to take you're going to take the Falcons plus the 3 at home.
I love when I can take points.
Kansas City's been different on the road. They have not been that good against the spread on the road, so that's not a bad pick. All right, Greg, where are you going for your 4th and final pick?
All right, so for the live at 6B studio for the 4-0, here we go. Miami versus Seattle, right? So Alabama, Tua, love Tua. He's out this week. That's all right. So I have to go with Seattle. So Seattle, they're playing at home. They got the 12th man. So I'm gonna have to take Seattle over Miami. That new quarterback
Seattle minus 4.5 over Miami is Greg's fourth game. Seattle minus 4.5 over Miami. I mean, Tua might be out for every week from now on if he has to retire. Which he probably should. So, Aaron, where are you going for game number 4?
I'm going to Atlanta for game number 4, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs over the Falcons for this game. I just think that Pat Mahomes is going to be able to get it done. I think that they're going to target Kelsey more in this game. Haven't really been targeting him much, but I expect that they're going to do that. I really don't feel that the Falcons did too well in the game against Philly. They just barely squeaked out the win, and they're coming off a short week, so I don't think they're going to be prepared for the Chiefs. So give me the Chiefs.
All right, Chiefs minus 3 on the road in Atlanta. You and Slick are head-to-head in that game, different sides, so we'll see what happens. There you go. There's an odds makers for a week 3 in the NFL, week 4 in college. Greg is here representing the audience, the LFS 6B audience. Greg, you did a great job, my friend.
Yes.
I know your Alabama is on a bye, or I guess on a bye this week, right? They're off this week. So how do people feel about Alabama football down there right now? Feeling pretty good?
We're feeling pretty confident. We got, I don't have to mention it, but Ryan Williams, 17-year-old. This might be his first year, but I think we have some Heisman competition right there. With Ryan Williams.
Hey, thanks for appearing on the Odds Makers, Greg. Thank you for your service to the country. We love you. Thanks for watching 6B. We appreciate everything you've done, and thanks for being a part of this tonight.
All right, peace out, man. You guys are awesome.
All right, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
You just raised the bar, didn't you?
What are we doing now?
I mean, we've hit it out of the park 3 weeks in a row with the audience here.
No doubt.
I mean, how great is this?
That was fun.
I mean, Greg was fantastic.
Greg?
And Aaron, you're doing a great job of. I know you're prepping. You're spending a lot of time prepping this, and so so far it's been just great.
They know the whole game. When they get on, they know everything there is to know. That's why you've done such a great job. Fantastic. We're going to see if Greg pegs those 4 picks. We're never going to hear the end of it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I like his Seattle play minus 4.5.
That wasn't a bad pick. I took a sniff at that, but looking at the Minnesota game too. Aaron Donald, there you go.
All right, so I guess we'll do sports here. We'll do news, and then we'll see if we get
Sam Donald.
Corey Mills here in this segment. If not, we'll definitely get him in 4. And then I'm assuming we've got Corey Mills, then Kimberly back-to-back, right?
I would assume if they're swapping them like that, yeah, that's probably.
And then Don Jr., so it's maybe the rest of the show. All right, if you're in the chat, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, wherever you are. Kyle says, great show so far on Facebook. Thanks, Kyle. You met Kyle, right? Last week, Slick? Kyle Perrone?
Yes, I met Kyle Perrone. Great guy. Met him at the America's First Warehouse. He was there for the AMAC event, which was really fabulous. Kyle Perrone has been in the chat for a very long time. Great people. Him, Carefree Largo. We just met some real gems this weekend.
Yeah.
Jeremy on Facebook, what's going on? Bill on Facebook. Oh, let me say happy birthday to our old friends, Bill Wamister, my friend up in Connecticut, Bill and Noran, who I love. Happy birthday to Bill Wamister tonight. And I want to say happy birthday to Michael Curtis tonight.
Oh, Michael.
Wow. Curtis. September and I want to say happy anniversary to Vincent Kennedy Buta and his wife. Married 37 years today.
Wow.
Vinnie Mac married 37 years tonight. I talked to him earlier.
I'm sure they never had a fight.
So, no, not with Vin's temperament. You can't fight with him.
Nah.
So, happy birthday to Michael Curtis, who I spoke to by text this morning. Happy anniversary to Vin. Happy birthday to Bill Wamister up in Connecticut. Old friends of ours for a long time. All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Harry on the highways in the studio. Harry, you haven't been here. That's why I said come sit down. You haven't been here since the greatest moment in rally history ever happened.
Get your ass in the chair, Harry. Get
your fat ass in the chair, Harry, so we can talk about the president and the conversation you had with him. I don't know.
What a great conversation.
I don't know if you're framed up, but it doesn't
Probably
even matter.
not. It doesn't matter.
Aaron, this doesn't matter.
Just
put him on
just
there.
go with it.
Whatever it is, it is.
He's not even in the camera shot,
Right.
so we'll have to
There
figure
you
that
go.
out. But you can hear him, so Harry, did you tell President Trump that he could go out there and talk about your conversation that you had with him? Well, before you answer that,
Okay.
Aaron, if we have it, let's
Oh, yeah.
we have the clip here. This is the president talking about what he told Harry in private to do on November 5th. Roll that.
Harry, get up, Harry. Harry, get your fat ass out of the couch. You're going to vote for Trump today, Harry. Get up, Harry. Come on, let's go. Let's go, Harry.
So, Harry, did you tell him he could talk about that in public?
I said, absolutely, you can talk about it. Sir. I said, sir, no problem.
Sir.
Use me as a guinea pig. Sir. Not a
Okay.
problem at all.
All right.
And it's funny, I was off the meteorizer I was off the meteorizer walking towards him because I knew, obviously, there were tons of people that we knew there, from Jesse Garcia to, list goes on and on of all the people that were there. And then he started saying that, and it was like,
Did everybody turn and look at you?
you know, people that knew me, but my phone was blowing up, and I'm like, yes.
I wonder why.
Yes.
we were having just a small tad bit of fun with it that night, Harry.
And then
I think we made you famous.
I don't know if you saw what Colin sent over that he whipped up in the editing room.
Oh, we saw it.
Zen Master, yeah.
The audience saw it about 3 times.
So it's funny. I'm walking out of the rally and I'm getting blown up by the Zen. What's going on? What happened with you and Damon? What happened to you and Damon? I said, I don't even know. I'm at the Coliseum. Damon's on the show. I couldn't hear. What do you mean? What's going on? Well, I heard the president said something to you, and I said, okay, he must have been watching. So,
your discussion with him about what you're going to do on November 5th and what he expects from you.
Honestly, I'm going to early vote because I'm never around here on Election Day, so I will get my ass out of the couch and vote early
you're
here in New York State.
Okay, very good.
Harry slimmed down for the show.
Yes, very good. Very, very good. So,
but it was a great event. It really was. I mean, Kevin Downey Jr. was there. David Zier was running around. We bumped into, I don't know, 200-300 people that we all knew, that knew of the show, that we knew, because obviously we live on Long Island. And I got to tell you, first time I've been in a Nassau Coliseum since they redid it. And it's, besides the outside looking like a spaceship, the inside is absolutely beautiful.
It's nice.
Clean, gorgeous. And I've been to, 200 rallies over the past, since 2016, however it's been. And this was so organized. The Nassau County Police, the Secret Service, everybody that was there, it was calm, cool, and collective. And I've been to many rallies where there's always confusions and this and that. They asked everybody to please get to their seats because the fire marshal had to do a count. And when I tell you, when they asked everybody to get to their seats, there wasn't an empty seat in that house. And I think I saw online is 13,000.
Yeah, they reduced it. It used to be 15,600.
There was not, and I'm talking from the nosebleeds to the sky boxes, which obviously they opened up, which I've never seen before, right? I guess special VIPs are in the sky boxes, to the seats behind the meteorizer, which were the worst seats in the world because you couldn't see unless you looked up at the Jumbotron. Everything was filled.
And back in the day when the Islanders won the Stanley Cups, it was considered one of the largest, loudest venues there was. And I heard it was super loud. I talked to David Zier yesterday, and he said he could not believe how loud it was.
It was super loud, but I got to tell you, the audio video presentations were great. The security was tight. Nobody, no hecklers. At least I didn't see any hecklers. Nobody was thrown out. And listen, we know Nassau and Suffolk County, always voted for President Trump, right?
Oh yeah,
and upstate New York. It's and even Staten Island. It's just the other boroughs that have trouble bringing him in. But
Yep.
It was calm, cool, collective. Hope to have him back here again. We only have 45 days left. I don't think we will, but it'd be nice if he came back.
Yeah. I did it in the commercial break before we do sports. I just want to say a couple things. Number one, happy anniversary to Vinnie Mac, Vincent Buta, and his wife. 37 years today. 37 years. Happy anniversary to Vin.
God bless.
Happy birthday to Michael Curtis.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Down in Muscle Shoals
Wow.
in Alabama.
He's down in Bama. Yep.
Michael's birthday.
Yeah.
You were there with me.
I was there. Yeah. I mistakenly said Tennessee, but that's right.
And happy birthday to my good friend Bill Wamister up in Connecticut. Him and Bill and Noran, good friends of my parents and mine for a number of years. Noran was my my Sunday church everything to me. Ran the whole school. We used to go on retreats and all kinds of great stuff. Special lady, special family. So happy birthday to Bill. So, all right, let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell, My Pillow. Catechism. That's what I was trying to think of. She ran the whole catechism program.
Remember catechism?
Religious instruction.
Religious instruction.
Long time.
Man.
Wow.
I need like, I don't know, man. What do you take anything for like brain fog, Harry?
Yeah.
What do you take?
You can't remember.
I can't remember the pill, but it's a Joe Rogan pill, and it
okay. Alpha Brain,
and it has helped.
Okay,
because of the chemo brain. That's what I get.
Oh, okay.
After chemo, I went to my doctor. I said, "Man, I'm getting short-term memory. I'm getting dementia." He says, "No, sir. It's from the chemo." I said, okay. And it's you look it up. It's true.
And health is good, Harry. Everything's good. Looking clean.
Thank God.
Feeling good.
Clean as a whistle. Everything is great. Thank you, Jesus.
Nice.
Good to hear.
Amen
Now
to
get
that.
your ass off the chair.
And go vote.
Harry! Where's
Let's
Harry?
do some sports. What's going on?
All right, we're going to go to the rodeo, Big D. Amarillo Tri-State Fair and Rodeo kicked off tonight, going through Sunday. Amarillo, Texas, in the Amarillo National Center. Here we go. Bareback riding leaders right now. Cade Sunnier, 88.5 points on Smith Pro Rodeos. Betty's Boy. Steer Wrestling, Landris White, 3.9 seconds. Team Roping, Coleman Proctor and Logan Medlin, 4.1 seconds. Saddle Bronc, we have a tie. Chase Brooks on Smith Pro Rodeos. Broken Button, and Spencer Wright on Smith Pro Rodeos. Dream Liner, 85.5 points each. Tie down roping leader Shad, the great Shad Mayfield, 7.5 seconds. Barrel racing, Jordan Driver, 16.56 tenths. That's an excellent time right there. Steer roping, we're in the third round. Jess Tierney, 9.8 seconds. Bull riding, Tyler Bingham, 83.5 points on Smith Pro Rodeos. Chumbawamba. And we got 133,358 buckaroos on the payout. So, Rick, you shot that message out to us this morning about Aaron Rodgers. And, it looks like there's going to be a clarification here on this scoop. Aaron Rodgers explains why he rejected Robert Saleh's hug in Jets' home opening win. The New York Jets beat the New England Patriots 24-3. We watched it last night. This is Paulina Dadaj of Fox News. All is well in the Meadowlands. Fans on social media sense a bit of tension between New York Jets QB Aaron Rodgers and head coach Robert Saleh after the four-time league MVP appeared to reject his coach's embrace on the sideline in the first half of Thursday night's win over the New England Patriots. Some speculated that the rejection might have been Rodgers' competitiveness and unwillingness to celebrate despite having a 14-0 lead, but the two clarified the interaction during the post-game presser. Part of the things that we've been talking about is to just get the defense a two-score lead, Saleh told reporters, grinning. And it was a two-score lead, so I guess he just wanted to see something on defense. He just reminded me that we just got a two-score lead. Rodgers' story seemed to line up, telling the media that he wanted to make a point to Saleh that they accomplished what they set out to do in the Jets' long-awaited home opener. Oh, awkward? No, it wasn't awkward at all, Rodgers said of the interaction with a laugh. He's not a big hugger usually, so I didn't know he was going for the hug. He likes to do the two-hand chest push as well, but he talks a lot about two-score leads, so I just gave him a push and said two-score lead. That's what happened. The Jets, of course, shine through their AFC East rival on a short week. Now they're heading to the Super Bowl, making plans to win it all, and Aaron's already making preparation for the parade in the,
Canyon of Heroes.
The Canyon of Heroes. That's right. Rick's been there a few times. So we'll see what happens with that big deal. That was a good story, though. So, there's really no big conspiracy here with that.
Nothing.
Delgado had it like, we got all kinds of problems here.
Right.
We'll see.
Jealousy has a funny way of showing itself.
Yeah.
What do you mean we'll see?
We'll see.
Well, we'll see what?
I don't know. The look of
We'll
disdain.
see if you can get off
see
zero.
nothing.
The look of disdain in his eyes towards his coach made me think that.
All right, worry about Daniel Jones,
there.
buddy, okay?
Yeah.
Huh?
Why don't you
Worry
worry
about
about
Daniel
getting
Jones.
off zero?
No,
Like
I don't
over.
worry
Right.
about that.
When do you think you'll get off zero? This week?
Maybe next season.
Maybe next season. Good.
I think you're
Lord.
right.
I could be right. Come on, man. And if Arch Manning decides to jump into the draft, number one pick,
You know what?
That's a good point.
got-
though.
stranger things have happened.
Yeah, that's
Arch looks pretty good in Texas.
He
that-
does.
This time he's
Touchdowns
got.
last
Yeah,
week.
and he can run. Supposedly he got that from his mom.
Oh,
not
he's
his
got
dad.
wheels.
Yeah, like
He
his
didn't
dad.
get him from his uncle. I'll tell you
He's
that.
a nice quarterback. So
Yeah.
he'll be in for a few more weeks while Ewers is getting better. He's the other
Yeah.
Texas quarterback. An iconic boxer and promoter, Don King, 93, is not doing well right now. Mike Tyson reveals. Now we know Don King did a nice endorsement of President Trump last week or 2 weeks ago when I ran that story. But this is Alex Raskin of the Daily Mail, and Don King, the colorful promoter and Boxing Hall of Fame member, is battling unspecified health issues. Mike Tyson told rappers Cameron and Mace on Friday. Speaking on the podcast, It Is What It Is, Tyson revealed Don is not doing well. He's probably close to 100 years old. He's not doing well, the 58-year-old Tyson added. DailyMail.com has since confirmed that King has battled health issues but is now back home resting. Further details remain unclear. Apparently, he was in the hospital for about 10 days, needed to get a transfusion. So, hey, old Don, he's 93. Most people don't realize he's still around, old Don King, but there he is. So, but I wanted to get that in, Big D. We'll
All
keep
right,
it on.
Slick. Very good. Kimberly Guilfoyle is about to take the stage, if not taking it right this second. So let's go down to the Texas Youth Summit and listen to her. Take that, Aaron.
Americans, a
Full.
stand for our flag. How we doing, Americans? I can't wait for Donald Trump to get back in office with a huge victory on November 5th. There you go. Because it is all on the line. And what an honor and pleasure to be here. And thank you, especially to Christian Collins for the job that he does, because we all stand for faith and family and freedom in this incredible country that we call America, the beautiful United States of America that will be united again under the presidency of Donald Trump, the 45th and, God willing, 47th President of the United States. You are all here in this room because you care. You care deeply about this country, about our shared values, about the mission that we are all inspired to take together to make sure that we recognize this country. And I see so many incredible friends and families in here and children. And it's important that we protect our children and their future and that we help them to understand what it means to have a love of country, a love of freedom, a love of liberty, to be able to put it all on the line, to fight for the values that we all share. If we do not succeed, which I will not accept, in this next election, we will not recognize this beautiful country. And I know so many of you think that and feel that and believe it with all your heart and all your soul. We have fought many battles together. We have worked tirelessly to make sure that we can protect this country, that we can protect our families. Because we do not want politicians in DC, in the swamp, telling us how to vote, how to live, how to raise our children. We know best. The indoctrination needs to stop. It has to stop, and with President Trump, it will stop. We don't want people who support children having gender transitions or telling our children that it's okay to use a litter box if you identify as a cat in the hallway of a classroom. Yeah? That's what's happening. And my good friend Mary Margaret Olahan over at the Daily Wire put out an unbelievable story today. There are 22,000 foreigners in federal prisons right now that each one of us United States taxpayers are paying for gender transitions. What is going on in this country? Right? Do you want to put a stop to it? Well, Donald Trump can put a stop to it. We can make sure that we restore the values that have made this country great, that we can protect families, protect children, neighborhoods, restore, as a former prosecutor, I tell you, law and order, public safety, respect for law enforcement, for our military, for our veterans, for first responders, for those who go overseas for dangerous missions to keep our freedoms protected. Under President Trump, we would have never had this disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Shameful, terrible loss of life that could have and would have been prevented. Under President Trump, we would not have the turmoil and all these different geopolitical regions across the world. You would not see what's happened in Ukraine. You would not see Putin emboldened. You would not see Kim Jong-un emboldened. You would not see China emboldened against Taiwan. You would not see the atrocity and massacres that we have seen against our allies in Israel. So you see that it's that important. And we know the difference because we actually have lived it in American political history. We understand, we experience the juxtaposition between a Trump presidency with a booming economy, all different socioeconomic backgrounds lifted up, and the disastrous Harris-Biden administration, which has crushed the souls and the hearts of hard-working American men and women in this country. Today and tomorrow and for every day after that, we say no more. We will stand for the American workers. We will stand for the American families. We will rebuild the strength of this country. We will embrace and not apologize for American exceptionalism. We will keep this country safe and strong. We will be respected through that strength. We will achieve again peace through strength, like President Trump did. Don't be afraid to ask for it because this country deserves it. With our incredible history of inclusiveness, of lifting families up, of, yes, immigrants that came to this country legally, lawfully, with due process, to come and live their American dream. We're for that, are we not? Border security is national security, and we have an open and porous border that has left America weakened and not at her best. We have people pouring in through the borders. We have child and sex trafficking. We have drugs, narcotics, fentanyl coming in our borders and poisoning the beautiful people in this country. The loss of even one life is too much. And that's why we fight. But they will do whatever it takes to try to stop this movement and to try to crush the American dream, to try to stop President Trump. But thanks be to God, and by divine providence, he is unbreakable. He is unstoppable, and he is fearless in his resolve and his courage to fight for each and every one of you. And we stand for President Trump. We stand for the family. We stand for this country unapologetically, and we will defy all the odds. Not once, twice they tried to take him down and take his life. But God has a white light around President Trump to protect him. and to protect this country and each and every one of you. They have, through relentless persecution, prosecuted this president, indicted him, tried to sentence him, all of the because they want to stop him. They want to do whatever it takes to make sure that President Trump is not restored to the Oval Office. But I have news for them. Trump 2024. With President Trump, we will make America strong again, and I know you believe it. He cares so deeply. It is the last thing that President Trump and the family would ever have to do is get back in the game again. But guess what? He says, yes, I will. Yes, we will. With all of you, with the support of great, fearless Americans who love this country and respect a man who's willing to put it all on the line. Because the only thing that stands between us and them is President Trump. And they know this. They fear it. And they should be worried. He is the leader that this country deserves, a true commander-in-chief. Not someone like Kamala Harris, who hasn't accomplished anything except had elections handed to her, primaries handed to her that she didn't even have to participate in. Someone who has failed us with the economy, at the border, and everywhere in between. And I truly believe in this country. And I believe in President Trump, my great friend of 20 years. He is the man right now in the arena who will save this country with the help of God. With President Trump and each and every one of you, I know you believe it in your hearts. We will make this country safe again. We will make this country healthy again. We will make this country strong again. We will make this country great again. You believe it? And I know this because we have great fighters like Donald Trump Jr., who will be up in a bit, that fight every single day, the tip of the spear, to fight to save this country, to fight for his father. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about the family, about the measure of the man, and about what they're all willing to do collectively. I love our odds. And I'll tell you, like I said, with the help of God, we are going to do this. And I want to say thank you to all of you for being here, for fighting, for believing, for willing to put it on the line. We are the front lines to restore American prosperity and strength and freedom and liberty. We will not take a knee to anyone. We will continue to fight. We will persevere. We will win. And with the help of God, we will make America great again. God bless you and your families. Thank you for being here.
Texas State Senator Brandon Creighton.
Now is State Senator Brandon Creighton.
Joined now by Senator Brandon Creighton, the author of the anti-DEI legislation.
The policies, the strategies.
All right, Texas Youth Summit, we're watching. Brandon Creighton's coming up. Kimberly Guilfoyle was just speaking. And then, of course, the main attraction is going to be Don Jr.
Now, when does he come up?
He's coming up, I believe. What do we got, friend? Not about 9:05.
Oh, okay.
9:05, 9:10.
Yeah, 9:05, 9:10. He'll come up. He's going to talk. And I think he's doing kind of like a sit-down fireside chat, I believe, is what I heard.
Yes, with Senator Creighton.
With Senator Creighton. So actually, we'll keep an eye on Senator Creighton here. What's going on? And if he brings Don Jr. out any quicker than we think, we'll cut right to it. But so we did Nods Makers tonight. That was good. Greg represented the LFS6B audience. That was fun.
It was great.
That was great. Slick's been doing some sports. Let's do while we're watching Senator Creighton here. Let's do a little more news. Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on?
All right. Well, this story we've been doing follow-ups every night since it broke. Talking about Sean P. Diddy Combs, who is currently residing, well, not in one of his many mansions, but behind bars pending trial for damning for the crimes that he's been charged with. And now it seems there are more damning new texts that are being revealed that are going to keep him behind those bars. It was revealed earlier on Wednesday, believe it or not, in the sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs, as a Manhattan judge ruled that the hip-hop mogul is going to remain behind bars pending trial. And you know how these things work. Trial's not going to be next week. It's going to be a while. Manhattan federal judge Andrew Carter Jr. said Combs' proposal for home detention and electronic monitoring on $50 million bail were insufficient, upholding the magistrate judge's Tuesday ruling to remand him into custody. Prosecutor Emily Johnson, during the bail request, used messages between the Bad Boy Records founder and his alleged victims to bolster her argument that he should remain jailed. So I wonder what those messages said. One victim allegedly messaged Combs on November 19th after reading allegations in Cassie Ventura's November 16th lawsuit against the rapper, saying Ventura's claims sounded like her own. I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma, the message said. So, not good news for P. Diddy.
No. All right, top of the hour, hour 2 coming up. We'll go back to the Texas Youth Summit for Don Jr. when we get back right after this. All right, we're live in the chat. X, YouTube, Facebook, whatever you're watching on, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Let's see what's going on in the chat.
I think I signed in. I was in the midst of signing in, and things went crazy. Let's see. Where am I? All right, let me get over to here. Over there. Nope, that's from nope. So I'm not signed in.
Charles Barkley Shorts, what's going on X?
I love Charles Barkley Shorts.
The good one right there.
That's a good one. What's going on with Rumble? Come on, Rumble. Come to Daddy.
Rumble, young man, Rumble.
There it is.
Broke spoke. In the YouTube chat.
Susan Shin on Facebook says, good evening, guys. Love your show. Watch it every night. Thank you very much.
You know what I saw, too? We're talking about the Diddy story. Clips are coming out. There's a clip of him from, I want to say, is it 1999? It was a while ago. Mike Tyson and him were on the couch of a talk show. I forget who it was. But they were sitting next to each other. No, it wasn't Arsenio. They were sitting next to each other, and I guess Diddy's hand was like next to Mike, like touching his leg, and Tyson wasn't having any of this. He picked up his hand, he moved it, and then he moved himself to a different position on the couch. It's like, wow, even Tyson knew back then.
Wow.
You know, as LeBron says, ain't no party like a Diddy party. That's something you might want to stay away from.
Oh, maybe LeBron's going to have a little explaining to do.
LeBron might have some explaining to do.
Oh, see how he rebounds from that one.
Oof. Yeah, there's going to be some major. You know, I don't want to speculate.
No,
but that's what I do.
You're not one to do that.
But that's what I do.
Delgado speculate, Big D.
He might end up like old Jeffrey Epstein. You know, he knows too much about too many people, and they don't want their secrets coming out.
Right.
Which is crazy. A lot of powerful people.
Oh, yeah.
They've been to his parties. They know what's going on. I mean, Stephen Baldwin, you know Alec Baldwin's brother?
Yeah, of course.
He's kind of made some mentions because his son-in-law is Justin Bieber.
Live from Studio 6B, Hour 2 on a Friday, Pizza Friday, Odds Makers Friday night. Nice. Of course, we did the Odds Makers a little early because we're going to be covering Don Jr.'s speech at the Texas Youth Summit. Say that 4 times fast, man. That's tough.
You can't even say it once.
Can't even say it once. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Slick's doing some sports. We're watching, who is this? Senator Creighton? Senator Creighton right now is on stage at the Texas Youth Summit, and he is going to bring out Don Jr., who's going to have a, chat with him, and we'll be covering that in its entirety coming up here in Hour 2. We'll try to do a little more sports and news, but while we have a second, can we get to this? I did this morning on the... I know I've been kind of out to lunch with the travels and college nights and other things that I've been doing this last week, but I don't know how I missed this story. And I don't know, the story of the second assassination attempt at the golf course, obviously, we've covered.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you guys have covered this and I was not here, but have you heard the story about the Trump supporters apparently attacked at the rally with a clandestine weapon?
Yes. That was that was one of my stories. If you went to news, I was going to jump to this one.
At least 20 Trump supporters this is from the American Thinker today. At least 20 Trump supporters may have been attacked covertly by chemicals or a high-powered laser at a Trump rally in Tucson, Arizona on September 12th. Some victims suffered severe burns. Many were temporarily blinded, with symptoms lasting until today. Others may have been affected, but have yet to be identified. The fact that all those known to have been affected were sitting on the stage immediately adjacent to President Trump is important in understanding the significance of what happened. The victims were all part of a Latinos for Trump group on the stage. President Trump actually shook hands with them as he walked to the podium. But what they believed was their good fortune soon turned into a nightmare when severe symptoms began to strike 30 minutes after the rally. Pastor Eli Moreno opened the rally with a prayer. He and his wife, Francesca Moreno, were among the first victims. After an exciting time of being up close and personal with President Trump, they began to develop symptoms on their drive home. Francesca, the wife, was hit hardest. Her face began to swell, her vision blurred, her sinuses started to run uncontrollably. When they stopped at the local drugstore for relief, they found other rally-goers with the same symptoms. Doctors at a local emergency room flushed their eyes and sent her to an ophthalmologist. 5 days later, her vision was still significantly blurred. Another victim, Maya Rodriguez, also fell ill 30 minutes after her rally. Her symptoms included burning eyes and severe headache. By the time she was rushed to the emergency room, she couldn't open her eyes. Other attendees had similar symptoms: blurred vision, swelling. Experts believe the symptoms resulted either from a chemical agent or more likely from a high-powered infrared laser attack. This is in the American Thinker, by the way. This is not like TMZ, the Daily Mail. This is in the American Thinker. Thus, while chemicals were initially blamed, physicians and retired military experts experienced in chemical, biological, nuclear-directed energy warfare now believe it was an attack by an unseen infrared laser. The symptoms are consistent with very severe sunburn. Eye damage is the same Another clue pointed towards a laser attack is that those affected occupied a finite area, namely 2 rows of 10 people adjacent to Donald Trump. Unless someone unleashed an aerosol spray that no one detected, a chemical attack would have been a wider affected area. A laser capable of inflicting this level of damage is commercially available on Amazon. Because light in the infrared spectrum is not visible to the human eye, no one would have seen the attack of this type while it was happening. Political and law enforcement insiders believe what happened was a warning. One warning could be this what happens to people who support Trump. Another frightening warning could be we purposely aimed at just one stage area 8 feet away from President Trump, but he could easily be next. I mean, that's a crazy story.
Yeah, it is a crazy story. And you would think it'd be, oh, well, that's out of control until you start looking into the Havana syndrome. You know what that is?
Yes, I remember that.
That's exactly the same. It's according to this, it was pulsed radio frequency energy carried out that could be what affected people at the U.S. Embassy in Havana, Cuba, as far back as 2016 and 2017. Some staff complained of symptoms ranging from dizziness, loss of balance, loss of hearing, anxiety, cognitive fog. It sounds something
all right, we got to go
similar.
to the Texas Youth Summit. Don Jr. is on the stage.
Wow.
Let's go there.
Fired up.
Texas Youth Summit is growing. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Maybe we'll let these die down a little bit. With my luck these days, I'll catch on fire. I'll look like Tim Waltz coming out at a rally, like rolling around like Chris Farley. What a clown that guy is, huh? I mean, can you imagine a more weak group than that guy? It's like a TV sitcom, you know, where the guy is the imbecile and the woman is also the imbecile. That's what we're running against right now. It's pretty scary, but I'd like to thank the senator for the introduction, and he's 100% right. We can't take anything for granted this time around. We can't take it for granted in Texas. We can't take it for granted anywhere in the country. It should be so obvious, folks, to anyone with a brain, anyone who's been paying attention. When were you better off? You had 4 years under Biden-Harris, just so we're clear, right? It's the Biden-Harris administration. We've been hearing for the media like Kamala Harris started her political career 3 weeks ago when she was part of a coup to save democracy by not getting any votes in a Democratic primary, by displacing the guy that did get the votes. You notice it was the first time we actually ever saw the truth from the media, ever? Certainly in my lifetime. Most certainly in the last 10 years. They were actually honest for the first time ever. They actually talked the truth about Joe Biden. They said, you know, he's old, he's infirm, he's incompetent, he's an idiot, we've failed under these policies. And I was like, wow, what's going on here? Felt like I was taking crazy pills. They're actually telling the truth. What's going on here? Well, we knew they actually weren't telling the truth because they decided to magically become honest about what's going on in the world. They were telling the truth because they understood that Joe Biden could not win. They understood that everyone saw the weakness that he exuded, his incompetence. He couldn't remember where he was most of the time. You know, if Trump, remember when he went down the banister and he was like the slippery thing on that rainy day and he held onto the banister and they're like, oh, that's it. Trump is in the later stages of dementia and Alzheimer's combined. Every telepsychologist was out there saying, you know, we must implement the 25th Amendment. He's like, no, he just didn't want to fall on national TV. Joe Biden can fall up the stairs and down the stairs of Air Force. I've never seen someone fall upstairs, right? Like it's almost incredible, right? Like, it'd be funny if that wasn't the guy in charge of the nuclear codes, right? Like, I swear, guys, I wake up some days and I feel like I'm like Jim Carrey in The Truman Show. You know, I'm like looking up, I'm like waiting for cameras to fall out, like someone in the front row, it's a little bright, like blink 3 times if I'm just the star of The Truman Show and the world is just messing with me and I just don't know it. I'm the only guy that's not in on the joke because it's that bad, right? Like it can't be real, and yet it is. So we had 3 weeks of media clarity and honesty, and big tech wasn't doing their thing, and they let us ridicule Joe Biden as he deserved to be ridiculed, as he deserved, frankly, to be ridiculed for the last 4 years. And then they got what they wanted. The guy that actually won Democrat primary votes, that actually won a process put on that would be considered the democratic process, was just erased. Put aside. I saw the other day they said, no, Kamala Harris won her position in an open primary. I go, was there a single vote cast? Please explain it to me. That's the problem. They talk to us like we're clowns. Like they said it's a democratic process. I mean, this is what they went through. I think Gavin Newsom actually had a moment of honesty, and it's probably only because he hates Kamala Harris, because he's jealous that she's in that position, and perhaps he could have been. He was like, well, she won an open and honest thing, and that's what they told me to say, so I'm going to do it, and the media will parrot that. And then right away, within seconds, we bastardized democracy to save democracy. We're jailing our political opponents to save democracy. We have states that have gone out of their way to change their election laws to prevent people from voting for the person they wanted to vote for in order to save democracy. And I start thinking to myself, maybe these people don't care at all about democracy. Because they don't. They care about power. They care about winning and maintaining that power. And then forcing, not through a democratic process, but forcing their ideals, no matter how insane, upon us and our children. It was fun watching Hillary Clinton this week. People should be put in jail for misinformation and disinformation. She would love to see that implemented. I go, when are they arresting Hillary for Russia, Russia, Russia? I'm not in favor, for the record. I'm not in favor of jailing people for free speech, for having an idea. And let's not forget, her idea of misinformation is just if you disagree with her. It has nothing to do with being right, right? When they inevitably try to get this done, who do you think is going to be the arbiter of truth? Like CNN? Is it going to be the people that told us that Russia, Russia, Russia was actually real? I know, and I take this one a little bit personally. Like I said, I'll make an exception for Hillary because she knew what she was doing. She doesn't care. Just like she knew what she was doing on Monday, the day after they tried to kill my father again. It's getting old, right? It's like, trust me, it's weird. Like, I'm the father of 5 young kids. They play with their grandfather all the time at that very golf course. They're always out there with. I'm like, I can assure you, no one should have to talk to their young children a second time about trying to kill their grandfather that they love very much. And yet it didn't stop the media from immediately. He brought this upon himself. I'm waiting for like Merrick Garland and the DOJ to charge my father for being a part of an assassination. He may have been the intended victim. He's still part of it. He's part of it. We must jail him. That's the clown show we live in right now. He is responsible for radical leftist, Democrat donors trying to kill him. Not the people that said, he is the greatest threat to democracy ever for like 10 years, every day, day in and day out, the only soundbite they got. He is literally Hitler, folks. You don't think they know exactly what that's doing? When Hillary Clinton on Monday, within 24 hours, said he's a unique threat to our democracy, like the lunatic There's too many kids in the room where I'd say the bat-ass crazy person that she is. You don't think that's on purpose? You don't think she knows? She's not the sharpest tool in the shed, and she's the least likable human in American political history, maybe in American history. True story. But she'll say it again. I will say this. The one thing that's good about Hillary, we can all take great solace that at least come November 5th, win, lose, or fraud, that crazy woman will never be president. So, you go through this not very democratic process, you get Kamala Harris. Now, the media is literally pretending like she started her political career, as I said, like a month ago. She's going to be a great moderate. I go, I don't know, seems like a stretch. How dare you say that? She is, an African-American woman. We must need that kind. Well, what does that do? Like, how about ability? I mean, I would rather have that. Like, we saw that. Again, we had time under both presidents, both ideas. The media is saying Kamala Harris is going to be the agent of change. Yeah, she's changed everything for the worse. If she was going to change anything, why not, start, 3.5 years ago? Like, if you're really going to change things for the better, if you're going to be the agent of change, why did you take the Harris-Biden policies and cut and paste them to be your policies? It took them a month to get them up there, but they didn't even change the source code, so we know it's exactly the same. She's not going to change anything. You're not going to change a radical California daughter of a Marxist professor. Someone who was rated the most liberal person in the United States Senate, left of Bernie Sanders, because at least Bernie Sanders cared about American jobs. That doesn't just change. You don't change those stripes. That would be like Donald Trump Jr. waking up one day and being like, soft. Not gonna happen, folks, I'm sorry. Just not in the cards. I'd have to become a Democrat, and that would be a long shot. Like, it would be impossible for my testosterone to go that low. It's just, it's like, if there was a reverse TRT program, there's not enough of that stuff around to make me that soft. It's just not gonna happen. But they're gonna try to tell you, she's not gonna ban your guns. It was 10 days before the debate where she said that and didn't get fact-checked. We saw that was a little one-sided. 10 days before that, she talked about a gun buyback program, mandatory. Just so we're clear, a mandatory gun buyback program is taking your guns, right? You understand what part makes it taking your guns? The whole mandatory, right? It's kind of a big word in there. But then she'll get up on the stage and in front of the American public, I would never do that. It's like, well, you voted for all these things. Here's all your comments from the past years. Here's what you said 10 days ago. And then 4 days after the debate, she wanted to institute another assault weapons ban. But she's not going to do it, guys. You know how else we know she's going to lie and will lie about any of these things? Because they've done it about everything. Remember the 2020 Democrat primary debates? Would you ban fracking in the United States? Whose hand went up on that stage? No, everyone's. Everyone's. Because that's Democrat Party policy today. But Kamala Harris went up, Joe Biden went up, and the rest of the clown show went up. I think it was your wonderful transportation secretary. We're not sure what he's done other than fail. Pete Buttigieg, his hand went up. But he can be the transportation secretary because he has no experience, but he's gay and checks a couple boxes. Again, it's not about ability. It's not about merit. How many boxes can you check? Therefore, you should be qualified. All of their hands went up. They all said it on the record in front of tens of millions of Americans. People that were bored enough to watch that crap for like 90 minutes. Imagine giving these idiots a chance at this point. It's hard. It's hard to believe. They all went up. And then, a couple weeks later, the debate with Joe Biden and my father. Well, he said he'd ban fracking. I would never ban fracking, Joe Biden say. I would never, media, he would never do it. I go, but he said it like 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about? He's on the record. Like, this wasn't like an offhand comment to someone. It wasn't a deep fake, which all end up being true. It was real. He said it out loud to everyone. But they knew it would cost him votes. In Pennsylvania and Ohio and Michigan and obviously in Texas for congressional seats, and Oklahoma, and other people that work in the oil and gas industry across the country. So you had a full court press to say he would never do that. He would never do it. It was so convincing. They got the American people to believe it for a little bit. And then on day one, what'd they do? First executive order, I believe. Keystone Pipeline, gone. They'll say whatever they need to say to win. They have a $1 trillion industry, which is the mainstream media, backing them. They have $1 trillion in big tech, backing them. You think Kamala Harris is going to be a moderate? What about her has been moderate in anything that she's done? She's not going to take your guns, folks. Definitely not going to do it. Except you said it 10 days ago. You said it 4 days afterwards. She gets on with Oprah. I mean, I just want her to do more of these interviews because it's amazing. Like, even Oprah can't carry her through this stuff because it's like, oh, the word salads. The word salads are so good, I almost want to become like a vegan. So let's watch it. Just keep going. Keep talking. Oh, give her a mic. It's insane. But so are the policies. So everything they do, right? She's going to be a great moderate. She's so moderate, guys, that she wanted to fund, courtesy of you, the American taxpayer, transgender surgeries for illegal immigrant criminals that happen to be residing in California prisons. I don't know. I'm sort of upset that, like, our kids can't read in America. I'm slightly less concerned about illegal immigrants and their gender experience in American prisons. I mean, it's kind of funny, but like, Jesus, it's like, it's scary too, right? It's like, these people are nuts. Just to sort of put a little emphasis on that, I guess it was yesterday. What was it, 156 Democrats? What'd they vote for? What's that? Nope, not voting. They voted in Congress to make sure that illegal immigrants that were caught as sex offenders, rapists and pedophiles, would not be deported after they served their prison sentences. Think about that. I mean, like, if you were trying to destroy America from within, if, like, let's say our biggest enemies, say China. China. I'm a Trump, we must use the proper vernacular, folks. If China, if you had sort of the proverbial Manchurian candidate in office, if China were trying to destroy America from within, and they had that power to do so, what would you do different than today's Democrat Party? Nothing. It's like hard to believe. I'm like, you don't want to deport pedophiles who are here illegally. You want to make sure we keep them, like, what good, like, what, like, I can't, like, and by the way, this isn't like some lunatic, crazy person in California with a level 3 IQ. They're basically the same. But these are elected Democrat officials in Washington, D.C. They are in Congress. It wasn't one of them. It was 150-something of them. What on earth could they be thinking? Explain? I can't even understand the logic. The Democrats, they've literally become the party of pedophiles. I mean, they're more pro-pedophile than they would be America. Because they don't vote for anything pro-America. Right? If Kamala Harris was going to change something, guys, I imagine you wouldn't wait 4 years and do it. Let's not forget, she is the vice president to the most absent president in the history of America. Someone who has spent, 41? I don't want to get fact-checked, but north of 40, I know that for a fact, north of 40% of his time in office on vacation. Just so we're clear, raise your hand if you showed up to work only 60% of the time. Would you still have a job? Not a single person. Of course not. I work in a family business. I wouldn't even have a job. I'd be out so fast your head. If I missed 1%, my father would fire me. 40%. Not even there. And let's just say that's probably a good thing for America, because when he is there, it's even worse. But, because of that, and, the dementia, another minor detail, you'd say, you know what? The vice president in this case actually has quite a bit of power. Why don't you implement any of the things you said you're going to implement? Why didn't you start? You're going to wait magically till January 20th. Then you're going to start doing these things. Why not do it now? If you actually had an intention of doing any of these things, any one of them, why not sit down with Joe Biden and be like, you know what, these things would be really helpful to me. The American people really want to do something about this. You don't think he'd play ball? I mean, they got him to resign in disgrace in a coup. I'm sure they can get him to go along with a policy that would actually be good for America. But she has no intention of doing them. We know that. We just have to make sure everyone else understands it. So we've seen that. We had 4 years under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. The world is a worse place. Our economy is a disaster. Inflation is through the roof. Jobs are getting crushed. Our adversaries are invading their neighbors all over the place. We're in wars everywhere. Because guess what, folks? The world understands strength and they understand weakness. When we exude weakness as America, when we lead from behind, the world sees that. That's the nature of predation. I'm not saying any of these dictators are good people. I'm saying they see weakness and they're going to pounce. This is a story as old as time. I want the guy that doesn't exude weakness, that understands the economy because he's actually signed the front of a paycheck, not just the back. Not a career San Francisco liberal. He's never worked in the private sector in her life. I want the guy that took a bullet to the face and stood up defiant. These days everyone's a tough guy on the internet, right? Everyone's a tough guy on a keyboard, and everyone has gotten a little too comfortable talking smack on, But when they've actually tested, most people crumble. I think world leaders, the people who signed peace deals in the Middle East rather than perpetuated war and death and mayhem and destruction, I think they saw that resolve before my father ever proved it to those who may have still been in doubt. There was a reason Putin didn't invade Ukraine and his neighbors during my father's administration, but they did under, obviously, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He did under Obama. He did under the prior Bush, because he understood what we all now know. That's strength. that resolve. For me, as someone who understands my father, knows him well, known him a long time. I'm older than dirt these days, so I guess I always got that. But honestly, even knowing him as long as I have and understanding him as well as I do, that moment was still a shock to me. I was out with my daughter. It was a Saturday, the first time they tried to kill him. I was out with my daughter, and it was weird. My 17-year-old daughter, this doesn't happen often when you're a dad, right? So, like, especially once they get, like, mid-teens, it's over. Like, you get the call when they need money or something, but that's not, like, and I got the call. It's like, hey, Dad, I want to go fishing. I'm like, who are you and what have you done with my daughter? But when that call happens, which is, again, not very often, you go. And so I took my daughter out fishing, and we went out. We're offshore because I live in Florida. We're just running offshore a little bit, and we're out there having a good time, doing pretty well, and get the call. Don, your father's been shot. And? That's not like a call like it's good or bad. There's like only degrees of bad, but it goes from like really bad to really, really, really ridiculously bad. Well, we don't know. All right, we don't know. I tried calling everyone, I guess the one thing that was done right that day, I guess they shut down all communications. They weren't sure if there was other stuff, IEDs or whatever, so there's no cell phone in and out. Obviously I'm, floored the boat. We're going as fast as we can, back in and home. Took 90 minutes to find out anything. So that's a long 90 minutes, I can assure you. And by then, I started seeing some of the clips on social media, whatever it may be. I saw them come up, but you still don't know, right? Because it's like, we're in Texas, like, you're deer hunting, you can shoot a deer perfectly, it may run 100 yards and, it's dead, it doesn't quite know it yet. It can happen. So still don't know. Finally, we're all there. My family had by this time, we'd all sort of gathered, we're all together, we get the call, I'm on speakerphone, and Dad picks up and like, hey, I'm okay. I'm just like, that was the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. Then we talked about it for a little bit because he was like, well, the shooter was like, 130 yards away. My dad's a golfer. He's not a shooter. He's like, that's relatively far for a golf shot. It's not really far for a shot. I came from a competitive shooting background, and he's like, well, no, that's pretty far. I was like, no. Just so we're clear. Like, that's like, if that was me with 20 minutes on a roof and a high-powered rifle, that'd be like you missing a 6-inch putt. Like, it's almost impossible to miss. And that's why I also know someone else is working above. Like, so I'm explaining that to him, and it's sort of that realization is setting in a little bit. He's like, really? Like that? I was like, and I've been to, like, let's call it, I don't know. I know Trump can sometimes be prone to a little bit of hyperbole, but I think I've been to about 1 billion Trump rallies. I've literally never seen him go to a graph and point to a chart and and to have that all happen at exact moment. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who maybe don't have all that much faith, or maybe didn't have any, that see all of that play out in that split second, in that weird instance, in that unusual thing, and say, there has to be something else at play here. So, now I hope the guy that was watching out from there is also watching the Dominion machines on November 5th, but that's a minor detail. So we need a little bit more. Just 2 was a lot. I know we're asking for a lot here, but we're trying to save the free world. So conversation goes a little bit further, and finally I was like, it's so heavy, right? It was 90 minutes, a long time to sit there. Sort of the adrenaline dump starts hitting you. Me being my usual sort of inappropriate self, I finally had to be like, okay, listen. So, Dad, important question. He's like, okay, what is it, Don? Like, what? Okay, how's the hair? He goes, Don, the hair is fine, Don. It's a little bloody. There's a lot of blood. Don, but the hair is fine. I go, true story. I think my sister was like looking at me like, You're really an idiot, aren't you? You had to break the ice. And sort of, everyone started laughing. It actually was probably the little moment of levity I think we all needed in that instance. And I was like, so better or worse than Evander Holyfield? Where are we here on the scale of 1 to ear? So, but it was that moment. It was that instance. It was that reaction, that instinct to come back up in the face of evil, in the face of almost death, to come back and fight. And that's what America needs to do right now. That's what we all need to do right now for the next 47 days. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? There's a reason the Democrats also put in Kamala Harris, not just because they knew Joe Biden couldn't win, but because whatever games they're going to play, whatever it is they're going to do, however it is they're going to manipulate everything, they need it to be credible. When they do their whole democracy's on the ballot, yeah, they care at all, right? We've discussed that already today. Part of their whole nonsense, their whole hoax with that is they need people to at least believe a little bit. No one was ever going to believe it with Joe Biden. If anyone knew anything about Kamala Harris, or if the media was honest about her, no one would believe she could do it. Because she can't. But we can't have a moment of apathy. We can't have a moment where we don't have the pedal to the metal. Okay? Whatever call you can make, whatever, especially obviously in the swing states, but we got to remember our homes too, because it's not just about the presidential race. Just so we're clear, as someone who has done 50 hours of congressional testimony for treason, I was an agent of Russia, guys. By the way, just because it's BS doesn't mean they wouldn't still put me in jail, or actually treason is a crime punishable by death. That becomes like my average Tuesday at this point. But I get it. I'm not the upstanding citizen that Hunter Biden is. I know, I'm sorry. I'm working to improve daily. In my next life, I want to just be a Democrat. It's so much easier. Imagine that was my laptop. I'd be in Gitmo. My father would have been the one that sent me there, but and rightfully so, but, hey, what can you do? Whatever you would do on November 6th, if you found out that Kamala Harris was president, do it now. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it for the next 47 days. Whatever call it is you could make, whatever note you can send to a friend in a swing state to make sure that they're registered, to make sure that they're current, to make sure that every single vote counts. Make that call now. I know we're used to hearing it. We're at political stuff all the time. If you're in this room, you're a junkie, you're into the stuff, I get it. This race for dog catcher is the most important election in the history of I get it. We're used to hearing it. You sort of get numb to it. When you see everything that they're trying to do right now, when you hear them saying the quiet parts out loud that we've long suspected, but even they weren't dumb enough to actually articulate to the American people, they're saying them out loud right now. The party that screams about everyone they don't like is a fascist are acting awfully a lot like fascists. They're trying to censor us. They're trying to jail their political opponents. As it relates to my father, if they couldn't impeach him twice, if they couldn't bankrupt him, if they couldn't take away his businesses as they've been trying, if they still haven't jailed him, but they're still trying, let's ramp up the rhetoric hard enough and long enough to get someone to try to actually kill him. If they can do that to Donald Trump, let me ask you, a guy with an incredible following, the soapbox, the platform to be able to fight back, the means to be able to do so, if they can do that to him, who can't they do it to? But if they will do it to him, and they'll do it so flagrantly and so aggressively, who's off limits? You think that, you know what, we beat Donald Trump this time, things are going to go back to normal, or you just think this becomes the new normal? I promise you guys, it's never going back to normal if these people get into power. So we have to get involved. The only thing that's going to cost us this election is going to be apathy. Okay, you see it when they try to do with the polling. They try to demoralize you. They want you to stay at home. They want you to cry. They want you to think you can't do anything about it. You can. It's harder. I say to win by 1, we got to win by 5. That's the reality. Okay? No one actually believes now, no sane person at least. Some Democrats may be fine with the results because, again, they care about democracy, but no one actually believes that Joe Biden lost 18 of 19 bellwethers. He underperformed literally everywhere except for Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, Milwaukee, where he magically also outperformed like Barack Obama in 2008. Like, no one believes that happened. That's, again, sane or rational. So we need every ounce of your energy to win, because what we're fighting for is worth it. And I came from a place where the son of a billionaire from New York City, I used to get invited to the cool person parties. Even the libs liked me. They really liked him. Like, doesn't matter. What we're fighting for is everything. Everything is on the table. So we need everyone engaged. We need everyone active. We need everyone fighting to save our country. And when we win, we will make sure that we leave America to our children in a way that they recognize, in a way that they can appreciate it, and in a way that our founding fathers intended. Thank you so much, Texas. I think we're coming back out in a couple seconds to do a little bit of roundtable chat. But thank you guys. You are the best. I'll be back.
All right, there you have it from the Texas Youth Summit. Donald Trump Jr. on stage and delivering remarks for the crowd there. I guess he's going to be coming back for a roundtable chat, which I guess now, do we know if that's going to be happening in the next few minutes? I'm not sure. Okay. So we'll just, we'll kind of go fly by the seat of our pants, as they say, Slick.
Yes.
Doing a great speech there in Texas for the Texas Youth Summit. Again, reaching out, and this is what the Trump campaign's been doing. They're reaching out to all these groups because it's going to take a coalition to make sure that this thing ends up too big to rig, as they say. And according to, I guess, early voting started in some states. I think 3 states it's reported you can start voting around the country, believe it or not, for an election in November. But this coming in from George on X, on Twitter X. He twixed it out. In-person voting is officially underway in Virginia, and it looks like Trump-supporting patriots have flooded the polls. Meanwhile, zero Democratic enthusiasm. If Trump wins Virginia, he wins everything. A new poll shows that the race is a statistical tie. If Governor Glenn Youngkin and Attorney General Jason Myers do their jobs to secure the vote, Trump should be able to carry the state. And, so things Beautiful. Are kind of great.
Off to a good start.
Yeah, off to a good start. Voting around the country in 3 states is now underway, believe it or not, early voting. So you know what? I know we always talked about, voting on Election Day, but if these are the rules, Slick, these are the rules you got to play by. Absolutely. Oh, you're going to do early vote? You might as well do it now.
Yeah.
Get it in before somehow you ended up voting for someone when you didn't even vote yet.
Well, they say vote early and vote often.
That's what I say it all the time.
I love that.
I use the old Democrat talking point. Vote early, vote often.
That's a beauty.
So if you live in one of the states, including Virginia, that has early voting, well, it is now underway. Let's do a quick update. See what's going on in sports with Slick Rick Sports, brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout, and you can save yourself a ton of money on some great stuff from Mike and the people over at MyPillow. MyPillow.com is the website. Slick, what do you got for us?
All right, we got a little football going on right now. NCAA football Friday night. Stanford right now over Syracuse, 13-10. 9 minutes to go there in the third quarter. 17-10, Nebraska over Illinois at the half. And San Jose State taking on Washington State. That's the nightcap at 10 p.m. Of course, we got our picks in. Odds makers are all set. Erin's got her picks in. Who was it? Greg that had his picks. So we're all...
Yes, Greg down in Alabama.
Greg down, and we're really excited about that. And let's get to Major League Baseball, get some scores. Hey, the heat is on, Rick. We're almost within... Next week will be the last week of the regular season. Season wraps up on the 29th of September, next Sunday. So we got the Braves trailing the Marlins 4-3, end of 8, top of the 8th. That's a big game, too, because Braves and Mets are battling for that last wild card spot. The Twins and Red Sox tied at 1, top of the 8th. Phillies bombing the Mets right now, 10-2, top of the 8th as well. Bottom 6th, Mariners over the Rangers, 4-2. Astros lead the Angels 8-3, bottom 4. Bottom 5, Diamondbacks edging the Brewers 4-3. Giants over the Royals 2-0, bottom 6. Also bottom 6, Cardinals over the Cardinals 4-1. Guardians over the Cardinals, 4-1. Yankees and A's, no score, just underway, bottom of the first there. We have the earlier today finals. Cubs in Wrigley beat the Nationals 3-1. Reds down the Pirates 8-3 in Cincy. Rays topped the Blue Jays 1-0, and Orioles trounced the Tigers 7-1. White Sox taking on the Padres 9:40, and then Rockies taking on the Shohei Ohtani superstar Dodgers 10-10. And Shohei Ohtani, congratulations, first player to do it, 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a season.
Wow.
Incredible. You would have think that would have been done already, but nope. That's the history that he made, Shohei Ohtani. And next year, he's going to pitch. What do you think about that? What do you pay a guy like that?
That's right. I forgot that he was he pitched as well, and that he kind of took this season off of pitching because of his elbow.
Yep, he's going to be back pitching next year. So what a phenom he is. And of course, the Dodgers have him. I think Dodgers and Yankees, that could be possibly, Rick, a World Series matchup. Although there's a lot of other teams in there that are going to have something to say about it for sure. The Phillies, possibly the Padres, but it's going to be a great run. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when the playoffs start.
Yes, absolutely. And acting Secret Service Director pressed on Trump's potential appearance at Alabama-Georgia game. So they're already getting worried about that. You know, we talked about this earlier in the week. Big game next Saturday with the Dogs taking on Bama. And acting Secret Service Director pressed on Trump's potential appearance. Bryant-Denny Stadium holds over 100,000 people. This is Ryan Marick of Fox News. Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe discusses security measures for the former president. Despite 2 assassination attempts in the last 2 months, former President Trump is not shying away from large crowds. In fact, he may soon gather with his largest crowd since his 2017 inauguration. Trump, the Republican nominee for a third consecutive presidential election, has said he will appear in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, September 28th for Alabama's conference rivalry matchup with Georgia, the Dogs. Bryant-Denny Stadium, the home of the Crimson Tide, has a capacity of over 100,000, which will likely prompt a heavy security presence. Asked if those types of events are particularly concerning, given there could be around tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people, acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe wasn't interested in discussing Trump's potential appearance at the game. I'm not going to comment on protectee schedules, Rowe told reporters Friday. However, it does seem he has faith in his team to keep Trump safe. What I'll tell you is that each event is complex and each advance is different, Rose said, and those advance teams, they know what they have to do, make a secure environment for our protesters. Well, too bad they didn't show up in Butler with that same same approach. So, yeah, just saying the right things. But I am concerned, but you can't stop the man, so you have to respect him. Yeah. It's his decision. I think the world will be tuning into that game. No question.
Well, that's going to be a huge game regardless of who's there.
Yeah.
It's a potential, which could decide a national championship later in the season, right?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. So, I mean, Georgia and Bama, those are 2 top teams, top 5 teams.
Yeah, and you know what? I really wasn't sure how Alabama would rebound after losing their coach.
And the great Nick Saban.
Yeah, but it looks like they're still right there at the top. Just continuing to do what they do.
Almost as if they're in cruise control. Like Saban just left them to do Aflac commercials, and they've just kept going with it. They keep steering along.
It's almost like what Trump did when he left. He's like, look, I set up the border. Don't touch it, and you'll do great. And what do? They mess it up.
They fell asleep, so
Right.
at least they haven't done that for the Tide.
Exactly.
And real quick, NHL legend Jaromir Jagr, 52, announces plans to finally retire from professional hockey. Jagr is entering his 37th professional season. He must have been a rookie when Vin Buda got married 37 years ago. So that's Jagr. Ryan Morick of Fox Business, real quick. Jaromir Jagr, 52, has been playing pro hockey in his home country of the Czech Republic since 2018, right after he finished his 24th NHL season. Of course, he had an amazing career with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jagr hinted in an Instagram post earlier this week that this would be his final season. He confirmed that was the case in a phone call with The Atlantic. Jagr made his NHL debut with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 1990 after being 5th overall in that year's NHL draft. And today, he owns and plays for that team now known as the Kladno Knights. So the Kladno Knights in Czech Republic. But it's time for him to hang it up. Great player, one of the best to ever do it. Incredible numbers, and his 1,921 points in the NHL are the second most in league history, behind, of course, the great Wayne Gretzky. So he had quite the accomplishment, quite a career. 37 years of hockey.
Damn. I remember when he started, man. I think it was, 18, 19 when he ended up on the ice with the Penguins?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. And it was if you were a fan of one of the teams in that division, like Slick and I were.
Rangers and Islanders.
Rangers and Islanders are like, oh,
you
no.
dreaded seeing him come to your team.
Right, because they already had Mario Lemieux, and you're like, really? You got this kid now?
Yeah.
It was just oncoming.
They had a couple of good cup runs there, too.
Oh, my goodness.
Good stuff. And that's a wrap in sports for now, Rick. Back to you.
All right. Very good, Slick. And again, Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout. You were talking about the protection at the Alabama game. And again, hat tip to Greg in Alabama, who did the picks on the odds makers tonight. He did a phenomenal job. And thank you for your service once again. But speaking about the protection around the president. And if you check out, if you ever listen to Dan Bongino's podcast, he talks about, he's been on this story since it broke. He's been all over the Secret Service. He's got a ton of people whistleblowing for him. He's getting tons of information, just putting together some great stuff regarding what the Secret Service is not doing. And when you hear him talk about what went down in Florida, what went down in Pennsylvania, the things that they are not doing that they should be doing on a regular basis, it kind of falls in line with. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this last night or how much I got into it, but Representative Matt Gaetz out of Florida, talking about the protection of the Secret Service for Donald Trump, and made this announcement. About assassination squads. 5 known assassination teams, according to Matt Gaetz, to people, I guess, whistleblowing to him, are currently in the United States. 3 are foreign, 3 from foreign countries, 2, I guess, homegrown, which is scary enough. Gaetz calls it tragic and unavoidable when asked about his thoughts on the second assassination attempt. He says, I'm starting to get the impression that we do not have enough force protection of supporting President Trump that we ought to have given the threat environment, noting that he recently met with a senior official at the Department of Homeland Security who said there are at least 5 known assassination teams in the U.S. right now. With that type of activity, I don't think we should be allowing people to set up for an extended period of time and wait to take their shot outside a golf course property, Gaetz said. As far as the Customs and Border Patrol, they believe what they've seen is these people coming over the border. We played the clip of the Customs and Borders agent, the whistleblower, talking about how they're letting terrorists in the country, and they don't want anybody to talk about it. The administration doesn't want anybody to mention that they've got hundreds of terrorists who have streamed over the border just in the San Diego area. Oof. We don't know about Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. We don't know what's going on over there. But according to them, and in the San Diego corridor, that's what they've seen. Scary numbers indeed.
Yeah.
And, as a matter of fact, speaking of the president, He was, when he did the Nassau County rally on Wednesday. Before that, he went and taped Gutfeld. If you've seen it, it was a great interview, a lot of fun. But here are 2 questions that didn't make the final cut. This is some good stuff. You should check this out. Here is, I believe this is cut number 3. 2 questions from Donald Trump that didn't make the final cut on the show. Check this out.
All right. So last night we had so many great moments with Donald Trump that we couldn't fit it all into one show, hence the lube. Here's that part you didn't get to see. What is your fondest and not so fondest memory of high school?
I loved high school. I loved sports in high school. I loved playing sports. I had a couple of things where you get in a little trouble. I was aggressive. By the way, when you look at the aggression of kids in schools today where they throw teachers out the window, we're not talking about that. But I hated getting in trouble because I hated when they called my father and mother and say, he's not really behaving so well. I hated it. But I loved the camaraderie. I had a lot of great friends from high school.
Yeah.
You don't see him often, but one came up to my office the other day. He was a great-looking guy. Women loved him, most beautiful-looking guy you've ever seen. And I hadn't seen him in many years. And I said to the people in the office, the women especially, wait till you see this guy, how he looks. He was a football player. He was a great football player, actually. But he had everything. And the women loved him. And he walked into my office, and I said, it was not a pretty sight. Man, did he take a beating. Now, he may look at me and say, he hasn't aged well.
Yes.
But this guy has not aged well, but he was a nice guy anyway.
I got one last question. Has your heart ever been broken?
This is a great question.
Oh, wow, that's such a question.
Last 4 years.
I hate to admit it. Am I allowed to admit it?
Yes.
No. Well, I mean, look. I've had situations where it was devastating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to use the word broken. I just can't do that. I'm your president. I'm not thank you. I'm not supposed to have a heart that's broken.
Right. He's not sitting in my chair.
That's right.
All right. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
There you have it. 2 great questions, especially that second question about being heartbroken. I mean, that's what Trump does. Yep. I mean, just talking to people one-on-one like that, that's where you get the best of them. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, final segment.
We're done.
Oh, we're done. Oh, my goodness. I didn't realize the time. Oh, we're wrapping up. Thank you for everybody for watching. Military, active, and retired, we thank you. Everybody working the front lines, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Of course, Aaron and Fran in the booth. You guys at home, and of course, me. I'll thank me because I did a great job.
You did
All
a
right,
great job.
live from Studio 6B. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Peace.